Hey everyone! Before we get started today, I just want to take a second to go over some safety things. We're going to be talking a lot about ice today and how people used to cut ice in the past. Things are different now. Please be careful. Do not go out on the ice or ponds. It's not very safe and we don't want anything bad to happen to you. So even though we're talking about what people did in the past with ice cutting, please stay off of the ponds, rivers, and streams and ice in your homes. Thank you. Hey everybody, my name is Luke and I am the Education Coordinator at Hanford Mills. And I'd like to welcome you to our first in a series of several crop videos that we're going to be doing throughout the year. So you folks are in grades 2 and 3, so I would probably recognize quite a few of you depending on what school you went to. And I miss working with you guys a lot, but we're in some tough times, so we're going to make the best of it. So for you guys that are new, for folks that are new and that haven't been to the mill, to the museum, I'll talk about it really quickly and then we'll really dive into the fun stuff that we're going to be doing today. So Hanford Mills is a old museum. We go back to 175 years ago, and we like to tell the stories of the people and the history of the town we're in. We're in East Meredith, which is about 10 miles from Oneonta. We talk about water power. We're a water-powered museum or mill, which is a building that has a lot of machines, and the water powers those machines. It's pretty cool. I would love to see you guys come down if you're interested. So we're a water-powered site. We're very, very old, and we can tell the stories of the people that live in East Meredith. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the stories and one of the topics that we're getting closer and closer to by the day, and that's ice. Ice is a very, very important thing, not just now, but back in the past as well. Before there was electricity, though, it wasn't as easy to get ice as it is today. We have freezers now that freeze water. But unless you were living up at the North Pole or up in the Arctic, you're really not going to have your round temperatures that get to 32 degrees, which is what water freezes at. So at certain times of the year, people would actually harvest ice, like they would harvest a crop, like potatoes or carrots or apples. And ice was one of the crops that was harvested in East Meredith. We also would have to store it in a special building. This is called an ice house. We're actually going to make our own model ice houses today, and we're actually going to test them too. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started on our activities today, and we're going to talk a little bit as we're building our model ice house as well as our snowflakes, a little bit about some cool facts and some other information about ice and ice houses. Alrighty, everybody. What I did just to get us ready for our ice house was I cut out almost all the pieces. I'll cut off this last one while we're talking. And what you're going to do is take out the two sheets that look like this, so they're kind of that yellowish beige color, and cut out only on this dark line here. So these ones have these dashed lines. Don't cut those out. Only cut the dark lines out, because we're going to use those to help us fold our ice house in a minute. And again, ice houses are used to keep ice nice and cold, especially in the times before there was refrigerators or freezers. So now that we've got all of our pieces cut out, we're going to go ahead and start making our ice house. So the first thing you're going to do is take these two pieces that say wall on them, these two pieces that say wall, and you're going to fold these dashed lines like this. 1, 2. And do the same thing with this side. Because what these are going to do, these are going to help us put our ice house together. Like that. The next thing you're going to do is we're going to put glue with a glue stick, or glue, whichever one your crop provided for you. And then we're going to do this. 1, 2, 1, and 2. Awesome. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put these together. So we are going to put them so they're matching the bottom pieces here. So put the smaller walls like that, a smaller wall like that, and then a smaller wall like that. And there's going to be gaps up top like this. And then what we're going to do is, this is going to be the cool part, like that, and then like that. So we have our ice house. It's going to take a second to dry, so this isn't perfectly sturdy, but for the video it should be fine. So we have the body of our ice house like this, and then we have our roof like that. So what we're going to do now is quick break, quick transition, and I'll show you how we do our experiment. Okay, so for this part, the actual experiment, what we need to do now is take out our 2 cups from our kits and very carefully unfold them, or rather unpackage them so that they're nice and cuppy. And what we're going to do is put 2 ice cubes in, 1 in each. So we've got an ice cube in each. And what we're going to do is, since this is our first activity, we're going to test this. What we're going to do is, unfortunately, where I am right now, it's a little bit cloudy. But where you are, if you've got a big bright light or if it's sunny, this will work great. So what I'd like you folks to do is take 1 cup and put it in your ice house and make sure that the cover's on it. And the other one we're going to leave out. So we're going to leave both of these out so that either the sun or a big bright light is shining directly on them, and leave them out for about 20 minutes to a half hour. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if our ice house helps with keeping some of that sun from reaching the ice and helping it not to melt, which I think it will do. So while this experiment's going, it's going to take about a half hour, so we're not going to film the whole thing. But when it's done, we'd love to hear back from you to hear how it turned out. If you want to shoot us a message on Facebook, or if you want to tell your crop coordinators to tell us, however you want to reach out to us, we'd love to hear the results of your experiment. So while these are being experiments, while they're sitting in the sun or under that hot light, we're going to move on to our next activity. For my friends in K1 and 2-3, we're going to be making snowflakes, and for my 4-5 friends, we're going to be doing mini zines. Alrighty, everybody. Are you ready to start making our snowflakes? So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to talk a little bit about some neat snow facts as we're building our snowflakes. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we are going to fold our paper. So make sure you have your blank piece of paper out, the one that's blank on both sides, and you're going to want to fold it first like this, so a long way. And then fold again the short way, so you kind of have what looks like a little book. Awesome. So we have what looks like our little book, and before we start making our snowflakes, just talking a little bit about some cool things about snow and ice. If you folks are in 2nd grade and 3rd grade, you probably learned about the water cycle last year and how precipitation is when water comes down to the earth from the sky. So it can come down as rain, it can come down as snow or sleet, which is kind of like a wet snow, or hail, which is like pure ice balls. But what you might not have known is when enough of this ice falls, and if it stays cold enough, it can actually form enormous, giant icebergs on land called glaciers. These are a landform, which you'll be learning more about in 2nd and 3rd grade. Glaciers are really big pieces of ice, almost like ice mountains, and what scientists think is, especially around here in the Catskills and upstate New York, a lot of what we have, a lot of our rivers and mountains were carved by glaciers kind of moving back and forth as it got warmer and colder over time. So let's go ahead and start making our first, our snowflake here. So what we're going to want to make sure that we're doing is coloring, or rather drawing, on the side that is folded. So we've got this side right here and this side right here. So you don't want to fold on a side where there's open pages like this, because when we cut, it'll accidentally cut too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in this corner. So what I like to start to do is kind of draw like a semicircle, or piece of pizza kind of looking thing. You don't have to do this. This is just what I like to do to help me guide as I'm making my snowflake. And then what I'm going to do is I like snowflakes that are spiky. So I'm going to draw kind of like a big spike there, and a big spike going this way. And then I think I'll draw kind of like a cool, kind of like that. I don't know what you would call that thing. Maybe a spade, maybe. I'm not sure. But I think it looks cool. Snowflakes form all sorts of different shapes. So, you know, if you're drawing one and you think, oh, I don't know if that looks right, odds are it probably is pretty close to right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut out our snowflake since we've got the design here. So, and you can always add little divots on it if you'd like to, but I'm just going to cut it out as it is. So again, making sure that we're cutting this on our sides that are not open, so those closed sides. And there'll be a good reason for that in just a minute. I'll show you. And if you want to make it even look kind of even more snowflake-like, I'll show you another thing we can do. See as I'm cutting down this one. So there we go. It doesn't look much like a snowflake now. If you want to add a couple extra little cutouts, you can do that. It's kind of like that. Again, you can do whatever design you want. I'm just showing you the ones I like to make. So we'll cut those little triangles out, and then we'll see how it looks. So right now, again, it doesn't look like a snowflake now, but when we open it, I think it's going to look pretty cool. So let's see. Pretty cool, right? So this is my snowflake. Again, you can make yours however you want, and how you make yours is unique, just like all snowflakes. So you can, if you want to make more of these, you can. We're packing computer paper, but if you have lined paper at home, that works just as well. And they hang up really nicely too.